Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. A great morning to you. If you can hear me, you can hear me in the chat. I want to make sure that you all can hear everything okay as we get the technology together. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Elevate My Design Masterclass. Okay. Okay, let's see. We got a couple chats coming in. Okay, hi Tabby. Tabby, our assistant today. Thank you, Tabby. So I'm assuming you all can hear me just fine. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. All right, all right. Okay, beautiful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be a very, very informative session. You are going to walk away with learning key skills for elevating your designs. And, it's not always easy because there's so much information out there. So it's not always easy to know the right direction, but you are in the right place today to get it. Okay? You're in the right place. Hello, Miss Tracy. Okay, wonderful. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on the presentation today. We are going to be together for 1 hour. This is going to be a deep dive into all the ways that you can elevate your beautiful design work. And I just am excited for you because, again, this is going to give you so many good gold nuggets. All right. So good. Make sure if you haven't, have your notebook ready, have your pen ready, have that right aside next to you so you can take good notes and be well informed when you do walk away from today's masterclass. All right. All right. So tell me, let's talk about this a little bit. What is your biggest challenge with growing your design skills, your Canva skills? What is that? What is your biggest challenge? What is it that you're facing? What's the roadblock? Canva is so popular. Many people are using it these days. It's a free online design tool. You could do so many different things, and that's why it's the go-to. But what could be the roadblock? What is your biggest challenge? What is it that's stopping you? And we're going to go into some details today to look at some things that can be challenges sometimes when it comes to design. But I'd love for you to share with me. What would you say is your challenge with growing your design skills or your Canvas skills? Oh, okay, wonderful. Tracy says, I'm completely new to Canva. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. That is all right. That is all right because not everyone has had a chance to encounter it. Now, Canva has been around for some time, but yet and still, a lot of people are new to it. And that is something I've noticed as well with a lot of my customers that I work with. But okay, wonderful. You are in for a big treat because Canva is a new way of designing. And it's easier for the average person, the regular person every day to go in and make things quickly and easily. So we'll talk a little bit about Canva and how we can get prepared for using it. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. So that can be a challenge. We'll address that. And I want you to know that I'm here to help you so that we can get over any hurdles. So, how many of you have ever felt outside pressure? And I want you to think about just things on the outside of you that make it hard. Maybe it's Canvas new. So there's this barrier that makes that a little bit of pressure. How many of you have ever felt that outside pressure and how hard it can be to just overcome or to get through? I know I for sure have. I know I've felt pressure. Sometimes that happens. Lots of pressure. And that's just the way of life, whether it's your blood pressure, you're getting your blood pressure checked, pressure comes about from external things, okay? It happens. It happens to us. Um, And I wanted to just give you a little bit of history on where I was facing a bunch of pressure and how it catapulted me into Drea's Design Trove. So, if I may, just give you a little bit of backdrop about me. What I faced a lot in my workplace was me not feeling fitted in the place, feeling a lot of pressure to be something that I wasn't, conform to what they wanted me to be, to mold myself and shape myself, and to be pressured to do something or be something that I wasn't. Sometimes that consisted of all sorts of gossip and all sorts of shenanigans, but that surrounding pressure was very overwhelming for me in my workplace. And it did lead me to a point of almost a break where I felt just so much pressure that I just could not take it anymore. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're just overwhelmed. You're just too surrounded by too much. It's too much happening. And you feel like you're at a breaking point. Well, that was me in my workplace, feeling at a breaking point. Okay, feeling that I did not have anyone to support me, to help me to figure this out. What am I going to do? We got to pay our bills. But the environment is just so much, it's so much pressure. My husband encouraged me and lifted me. And I did take time to pray through this to help me to get this pressure off. But man, was it some work. It was some work. But I remember saying to God, I really do want to find a way to free myself from this situation, to find a way to relieve the pressure. And I asked God, what is it that I can do that would allow me to have freedom? What is it possible for me to work and have freedom and still have income that I need, but have freedom from the pressure? These are the words I heard. It is so. And it just resonated so deep inside of me. And I felt compelled to go. And so the pressure released. The pressure released. And I eventually got to a point of time freedom, financial freedom, creative freedom, because I listened to those words to encourage me to do and to become greater. Today, I am also working on a beautiful education platform to teach others the exact same, because no one needs to be living in pressure all the time. Okay? No one needs that. So let's get into the meat and potatoes for why you came today. Let's now talk about how to elevate my designs. Where do I begin? How do I start? Where? How? How do I get familiar with Canva? How do I get started? Okay, when you're first working on designs, I have three elevation techniques, one of which is using grid layouts. So, in order to structure your information, to make sure that it's neat, to make sure that your images and your elements are all lined up properly, using grid layouts are the best way to do so. So often, when you start any new document, any new template, there's just a blank canvas, a blank slate. You don't always know where to begin or where to start. And using grid layouts help you have that structure. So this is elevation way number one, using grid layouts for structure. All right. Another thing about grid layouts is that they give you consistency and order more than what your eyes can kind of figure out when you're just starting with a blank slate. It helps you keep everything consistent, lined up neatly. It also saves you time because of that. So you're more efficient. And because of that too, everyone else can really save time when reading what you have on display and understanding what it's saying and responding to it comfortably because it's been structured. So grid layouts are one of the best elevation ways. Okay, number two, the second way to elevate your designs is to use 300 DPI graphics or images. Okay, I know this is getting a little deep, but stay with me. DPI stands for dots per inch. And often this equates directly to having excellent quality prints and excellent quality showcases of your work. So it's always important to make sure that your graphics and your images have these properties. And so you'll sometimes see if you've ever printed something or you've ever stretched out an image and it just gets all blurry and boxes are all over the place, which is like pixelation, they call it. That is because there's not enough dots per inch. And so this is another way to elevate your design, elevate the way that you do your work by considering these types of graphics, 300 DPI. All right. So there's one more way, but before I get to it, let's talk a little bit more about 300 DPI. It's considered the best way to have sharp and professional work. And that's the secret that I found in making sure my work is professional and sharp, fine details, and more. This also is helpful too for large files because sometimes smaller files, you can get away with it. The dots per inch are much more condensed. But the bigger you go, the more you really need for your items to have these professional level of quality with 300 DPI standard. Okay. So one more elevation way that I find is to set your design goal and your colors first. It can be so inspiring to just look at your blank slate and get started and say, okay, I need text boxes. I'm going to put this information in. Let's go. But often it's really good to think about your end goal. Think about where you're going to set your purpose. And then also consider what themes or colors do you want to work with. So you can grab those colors, grab items around those colors and graphics that relate to those colors in advance. And then later, you're piecing it all together neatly with your layout grids and with your excellent 300 DPI graphics. And then everything is coming together. So start your design goal and think about the colors you need first. This will provide you with the benefit of consistency and branding, efficiency in the design process, and again, purposeful work and even emotional work that connects with the viewer. Those are the 3 elevation ways that I find are very helpful in getting your designs where you want them. But there's a big secret that's also there too that I want to share with you. This big secret is known by many, but most probably won't say anything about it. Most people will just keep it to themselves because it can be competitive out there sometimes. You know, some people just want to be the best and the best only, and they won't really share what some other things are that can really help you elevate. So I'm going to share it with you. I'm not holding anything back. I am spilling it out today so you know what the biggest elevation secret is. Now, this secret is so big, might be even a little bit scary, just a little bit scary, but nothing more than you can handle. Nothing more than you can handle. Okay. The biggest number one secret is that you need more tools in your toolbox. Okay. I know that if you're new to Canva, it's like, I haven't even got to this tool yet. But if you have been using Canva and you're a little familiar with it, you will notice and know that there are some things that are missing on maximizing and elevating my designs to higher standards, to better quality. And it's because you need more tools other than just Canva. So that's where the scary part comes in too, because it's like, oh my gosh, I have to learn something new. I have to figure something else out. But not exactly. It doesn't have to really be too scary. So the secret about it is when you elevate your designs, you're also elevating you. And you're doing that with these additional tools so that you are better. I want to also say Sometimes we feel that we have to use a tool to its fullest capacity, and that's what makes it intimidating. But how many of you, if you are using Canva, use it maybe 25% of Canva or 50% of Canva? I highly doubt that there's people who are using Canva at 100% capacity. Like you're using all the features, all the tools, every single thing. Now that is hard to believe. How many of you are using at least 100%? Who is using Canva at 100%? Who's doing that? Tell me in the chat. Come on, you guys. Is it really that possible to use it at 100%? You would be extremely proficient in Canva. I'm not hearing anything. I'm not seeing anything. So my thought is that no one's using it at that capacity. That's pretty big. That's huge. So I use it probably about 50% capacity, 50%. I'll also say then that when it comes to other tools, you can usually expect the same. You don't have to know these tools at max capacity, but the little that you do know, that's where you have the edge. That is the secret. You have the edge, and you can use those tools when you need them to do optimal things to your designs. Okay. All right. So thank you all so much so far for listening and sticking on with me. And I hope you continue to, because we have a nice prize that's coming later on. So stay tuned, stay in touch. And if you have to step away, I get it, but stay with me because we have so much more good things to cover and a prize at the end. Okay. All right. So again, the secret to elevating your designs is to elevate you, to elevate you. Okay. Now, I went ahead of myself with the how much we use the items. So let's talk about tools then. So some of the tools that are very common industry standard tools are Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, Inkscape, Photopea, which are free versions of Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, and then Affinity Designer. Those are tools that are industry standard because they directly relate to those elevation ways, having 300 DPI items, being able to input color modes so that you have the best print outcome. And also these tools connect with one another. So if you do work in one platform, you can use it in the other seamlessly. So that's what makes these very much so industry standard because of that. You can also create vectors, which is a way to scale your items very, very large. If you think about wallpaper or think about fabric prints or think of just things that are at large scales like billboards, it's often that these industry standard tools allow for that. Now, I'm not saying Canva is bad or anything or that it's behind and that Canva can't do some of these things, but in all honesty, Canva can't do these things here, create vectors or input color modes. And that again goes back to the secret. Others know that this is true. So they use other tools along with Canva to create better designs. Okay, I heard someone say this just a few days ago. You need to become who you need to be in order to accomplish what you need to accomplish. You need to become what you need to be. Four 12, 5 o'clock, 5:05, 6:04. I got sales coming in. So daily sales is absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. So I want you to see that can you imagine that you're waking up or you're heading to bed or you're out on vacation or you're on a trip or you're working your 9 to 5, your corporate job, as I was, okay? As I was. Just to remember this secret here, that the secret to elevating your design is to elevate you. You have to go and you have to become. And that is the core secret to walk away with, all right? Okay.